The 38-game Scottish Premiership came to a close today. We do have the matter of a playoff, but the league is done today. Teams were down. Dundee United
are done.
They are done. They're done. United. Celtic won the league. Aberdeen got third place. Hearts kind of fumbled that. Motherwell had an awful season, and Motherwell, I think, had one of the most weirdest seasons ever. They were so bad, pumped by Sligo Rovers, and then turned it around and actually looked like a good team. Hibs kind of just having a Hibs season. St Mirren doing a good job, but then kind of bottling the final split games. But we are here to discuss the final round of fixtures and give our thoughts on. Of course, we had 3 today and 3 yesterday. We basically reviewed every game yesterday, but we're going to have to talk about it again. And we're going to talk about the champions. Celtic 5, Aberdeen 0. And yeah, you know what? I think this was the most exhibit of a game of Aberdeen didn't turn up and Celtic did. I felt this was one of the worst performances I've ever seen. Honestly, this season. Aberdeen.
Well, it wasn't very good. And Aberdeen had nothing to lose.
Didn't have a shot.
Third place wrapped up. Could have went for it, and if they'd got beat, then so be it. But they had third place wrapped up. Opportunity to show that they're the third best team in the league, and in my opinion, they didn't do it. Didn't even make a game of it. They fucking sat back, and what were they trying to do? Honestly, why not? Last game of the season, why not have a fucking go? Doesn't make any sense.
No, the funny thing is about it though, see if they actually went for it, the game would have been better than 5-0. I feel like Celtic would not have. I feel like Celtic reasonably have conceding goals for fun, and also I feel like if Aberdeen were actually going for it, Celtic probably wouldn't have scored as many because that's just the way football works. But when you just sit off a team and literally let them have every bit of the ball, this scoreline was inevitable. It really was. And you know what? It should have been more.
Not to get one shot over 90 minutes is fucking embarrassing. Made the wrong decision picking Barry Robson to be the manager they did. It's not good enough.
It's not a good advertisement for Scottish football. I mean, Celtic, for a real purple patch, the team that's third best for this season, so-called third best, turn up on title day, point to prove. We're against the champions. Is this not like... If Aberdeen are... I mean, if you're fucking serious, right, about closing gaps to the old firm, do you not fucking make a statement here instead of lying down?
I could see it if Aberdeen maybe need a point or something to get third place, and they're trying to get a point that way, but last game of the season, why not make a fucking game yet? But no, sit back, don't even attempt to try and win, not even get a single shot. That's straight up embarrassing.
You can say what you want, right? But history tells itself.
I mean,
Aberdeen always turn up against Rangers. How many fucking games did they play against Celtic, man?
Aberdeen had nothing to lose, yet they ended up losing everyone's respect. So,
that was a sick wee burn. I mean, the last time Aberdeen turned up against Celtic is when Celtic lay down and let them win to hoover the place Rangers out of second. That is what it is. Next up, we had an explosive Embra derby. Lee Johnson quoted saying after the game, "It was just a lot of, my dad's bigger than your dad." Well, both the dads are bigger than you, son, because you're a fucking midget.
Everybody's dad's bigger than bloody Lee Johnson.
I know, I mean...
Small little man.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if his dad was Hornswoggle, but at the end of the day, he's a midget, and I don't get it, right? It's like, Naismith shakes his hand, and he doesn't even have, the fucking balls to, do it to his face, but he, nudges him with, a punch into the back. No, remember Tuchel and Conte shook hands at the start of this season? Not Conte, was it? No, not Conte. Was it Conte? It was. No, remember they shook hands? It was like it was like Dylan and
Dylan,
it was a Conte. I mean, it was just shite bag tactics. See if you're going to confront somebody, don't do it behind their back.
It was like a little push when Naismith was walking away.
It's lucky Naismith didn't stick his Phil Mitchell fucking dome on him. But anyway, you know what? I feel like this was a very Hibs game. They realistically played a full half, more than a full half against 10 men. Yes, they scored for the free kick, but it just shows you they just did not create enough to get the job done. And I feel like they easily could have got 4 for you.
I feel like you don't need to say I feel like, though, every fucking 10 seconds, personally. But yeah, I think Hibs will look at this game and look back and go, well, we should have won that. I mean, come on. They had an extra man for 70 minutes.
They will feel like that, won't they?
Yeah! Played an extra 10 minutes. Played an extra 10 minutes at the end, and they just didn't even really create enough. I mean, Sander Clark had a couple of good saves to make, but nothing phenomenal. I mean, he made one good stop towards the end, forced a save onto the post, but with a man advantage, and Edinburgh Derby, a place on the line, I expected more for Hibs. Although I just don't really get it. Everyone's now making it as if Hearts are going to Europe and Hibs aren't. I mean, Hibs will still be in Europe as long as Inverness don't beat Celtic. So, I I mean, was the game really that important? I could understand if Hibs needed Celtic. I mean, I can understand if Hibs needed Inverness to beat Celtic in order to get into Europe. Then you'd be like, oh fuck, we've no chance. But as things go, I mean, Celtic should be Inverness. Hibs should still get into Europe. So
you're right on that one. Next up, we had St Mirren against Rangers. Rangers finishing 7 points behind Celtic, so I guess they'll take that with a decent enough performance away to St Mirren. I just feel like St Mirren have been in holiday mode this entire split.
Yeah, they've been poor. I mean, I think they've picked up what 2 point, 1 point, 1 point. Yeah, 1 point. Two. No, they got a point against Celtic. 2 points out of 15. Yeah, not really good enough. Especially when you go into the split in 6th place.
It reminds me of Livingston just before the split with their arse goes. That's what St Mirren.
In fairness, St Mirren's form began to dip before the split.
Couldn't keep it up, but Stephen Robinson getting up there for Manager of the Year. I feel like he's done a really good job.
He has, but I mean, all the talk was him getting top 6, potential European spot, and then they fold it. So I don't think they fold it.
They cease to exist. But
if Stephen Robinson gets them into Europe, then I think you've got a case. The fact that they dropped off so bad at the end,
no case, no deal, no dice. But yeah, Rangers, decent enough. I mean, Sakala was his usual self. Goals and mistakes, touches like trampolines, all that stuff. Sakala does what Sakala does.
When you think about it, though, I mean, it's a really bad season for Aberdeen, Hearts and Hibs. And I know Aberdeen are getting third right now, and they probably won't feel that way, but, I mean, come on, it was. Till Barry Robson came in and they went on that 8-game winning streak. By the way, which I think was a fluke. I don't think they'll repeat that again. I would go as far as saying Barry Robson will not be the Aberdeen manager in 2 years' time. And that's not because he's moved on to bigger, better things. I think what he's done this season will buy him time next year. I don't necessarily think he'll do bad enough to get sacked, but I do think come the 24-25 season, he won't make the end of that. I don't think he's the right man for Aberdeen. Again, it was just a winning run, and it was a good winning run, but it was good enough to get him a job. I mean, you look at the form since they go into the split, just not good enough. I don't see, especially a club the size of Aberdeen, I don't see Barry Robson taking them to heights. Hearts fell away. Hibs had a really poor season, and St Mirren, in their best season, still couldn't get top 6. Still couldn't get European football. So I mean, if St Mirren can't get European football this season, then when can they? When can any other team beat the 3 teams below the Old Firm?
I guess last season Motherwell and Dundee United did it. Hibs and Aberdeen had awful seasons last year. So, I mean, it can happen.
I'm not saying it can't happen, but my point is, we're saying St Mirren had a good season and that Stephen Robinson should be considered for Manager of the Year. I don't think he should. I think that he's finished 6th when I don't think Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen could have a worse season. I think they've been awful. Look how far...
They could easily have worse seasons.
Come on, look how far Aberdeen's been behind Rangers. No one's going to tell me that Aberdeen's had a good season.
No, all 3 of them have.
Robson came in and salvaged it, but that's it.
All 3 of them haven't had good seasons, I'm not saying that, but Hibs and Aberdeen had worse seasons last year, that's my point. I don't think Stephen Robinson should get Manager of the Year.
That's alright.
I think it's just reserved for one guy, and one guy only. Michael Beale.
Is that the guy that's going to Tottenham? Or Michael Beale?
That's the guy. It's the guy that's he beat Ange by 2 points. That's the guy.
No, the beat Ange by 2 points trophy.
I don't know what a trophy it is. It'll be a trophy presentation tomorrow, but Kelly 3, Ross County 1. Kelly, they probably could have scored a few more for Dundee United, but guess what? Wouldn't have mattered because Dundee United also get beat. But Ross County, will they fancy their chances against Partick Thistle? You know what? I'm going to bet my money on Partick Thistle. I think Partick Thistle will beat Ross County.
Well, I predicted Partick Thistle win the Championship. I'm not changing my opinion. I think they'll be in the Premier League next season. I think they beat Ross County. I think Rocky Mackay's pretty good, but I think Partick Thistle.
Ross County, another team that
got the momentum.
Finished top 6 last season. Really, I mean, is it a poor season or is it just a case of they way overperformed last year and this is where they should be?
To me, this is where Ross County are. They're not a top half table.
No.
I think teams like Ross County are always going to be flirting with relegation.
Yeah, and they lost Regan Charles Cook as well, so it was always destined to be a struggle for them. I mean, players like Brophy coming in didn't exactly do an awful lot for them. But moving on, Motherwell 3, Dundee United 2. They're relegated. Dundee United are in the Championship. Jim Goodwin, he's got 2 years with him at least. So, yeah, why would they announce that on the eve? I don't know why they would do that personally, because I feel like with Motherwell's form and Dundee United's form, this game could only go one way, and I'm surprised it only ended 3-2 Motherwell. But again, Just a weird one, why they would announce that. Well, you say Barry Robson won't last 2 years.
I predicted Motherwell to win 3-1 with Kevin Van Veen to score, so I was close.
Aye, but do you think who will last longer, Barry Robson or Jim Goodwin? Tough one, but
Barry Robson. No, but Jim Goodwin will last longer because Jim Goodwin, I think, will win the championship next season. And that will buy him a year free. And, I mean, he should... With Dundee United in their budget, like, he shouldn't be getting relegated for the Premiership.
I know.
Whereas I think they'll be more expected for Barry Robson, and I don't think he'll be able to deliver. So
you know what? It's just a blame game because you've got Jack Ross, right? And let's be real, the players just collapsed.
I still don't think he was given enough time, and as bad as the results were, I think he deserves.
No, because see at the end of the day, right? Jack Ross got the best performance of the season, and result 1-0 win against Ayshead. No, he did have the two joint worst as well with a 9-0 and a 7-0. But that was the players, man. I mean, we watched both those games. See the Ayshead one? 1-0. If that chance goes in, right? Famous last words. But if Stephen Fletcher's bicycle kick goes in, there's hope. There is hope.
It's still in it.
Exactly. But the 9-0 against Celtic was the worst, man. They just laid down. They did. They just giving up, man. We've seen those sort of performances all season. I mean, look at Aberdeen. Look at Aberdeen for Goodwin. 5 and 6-0 against Edinburgh clubs. Absolutely horrendous. And then the most irrelevant game of the weekend, probably, we've got St Johnstone defeating Livingston 2-0. Davy Martindale complaining that the club's not even sold 100 season tickets for next season. Damn, that's no good, isn't it not?
That's embarrassing. You know what? I think Davy Martindale deserves a better job. He hasn't done great with Livy, but let's be real. You look at Livy with their budget, they should be a team that is fighting relegation every single season.
Yeah, you talk about Ross County.
Somehow with Davy Martindale, they don't even fight relegation. Yeah, they're more often than not, they're in the bottom half, but you never really fear like Livingston are in trouble.
No?
They're always around the mid-table, then tend to drop off a little bit. But they're never... I couldn't tell you last time Livy were in a relegation battle.
Literally?
I feel like David Martindale's done a good job and deserves a chance. I'm not saying he should get the Aberdeen job or anything like that, but I think he deserves to move up a little bit. Like even a Motherwell would have been a big upgrade on Livy. A step like that, possibly a St Johnstone.
It doesn't feel like it because of the job he's did.
Yeah, at the moment, like Livingston, like even St Johnstone would be an upgrade on Livy, but at the moment you'd probably think, oh, that seems like a downgrade. Yeah. Just because Davy Martindale overperformed so much at Livy.
See, when Davy Martindale goes, they'll go down.
Of course, aye.
Well, unless they get some, but I don't see how they get someone else good.
Although it's only a matter of time before they go down with him in charge anyway.
Yeah, it's a sinking
ship. Because every season
you can't just rip up every year, right? It seems like they just get rid of the actual full squad.
Yeah, every season
you can't keep doing
players. That. They're gonna lose Joel Newbley this season, and they'll probably lose a bunch of other people as well. So,
yep, guys, and here is the final league table of the season. So Celtic, not so long ago, Celtic were we're going for 114 points or something, but finished on 99. And you know what? I feel like that is I think 99 points for that Celtic team, considering the position they were in, is quite poor. And that's not me being biased. I feel like
of course it's poor. Even Celtic fans are saying it's poor. They're all raging. They all want to break the record. They're not even Centurions. They didn't even make the 100-point mark. And who would have thought that, honestly?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And for so long they were so consistent.
I think that Celtic's last game before the split was Motherwell, wasn't it?
Yeah, one each.
So since they've won 2 games at the last 6.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
No, it's not.
I mean, that's the sort of form that Ange was producing at the start of his tenure.
Uh-huh.
Well, Rangers, they finished on 92 points, 29 games won. A really bad season for Rangers. I mean, Celtic are going to be doing a treble. Rangers are going to be doing nothing. I mean, in terms of Europe, I know Celtic get 2 draws, but obviously they had a better season. But I mean, both teams did not do good in Europe, man. I'm sorry. Obviously, Rangers were worse, the worst Champions League in history. So I mean, obviously, you can't say from a Rangers point of view they did good, but just because Rangers were the worst does not automatically. I think the Celtic one's overrated, and I think Ange. We'll see what he can do. But Scottish football as a whole needs them both to do better, and I've actually got no faith in the third place team. Do you think Aberdeen will do better than Hearts in Europe? No, I can see Pittodrie being sort of a fortress for Aberdeen. But see that 5-0 they just produced at Celtic Park? That could easily happen in the Conference League. Away to teams that aren't even that good. I mean, look at Aberdeen qualifiers recently. Remember, they're playing like Viking.
All depends.
Teams like that, and they're getting fucking scudded 4-0.
Depends on the group, though. I mean, Hearts got a tough group, no doubt about it. Istanbul and Fiorentina.
Fiorentina, who are in the final, I believe.
Although, what is frustrating is the fact that RFK or RFC, whatever they're called, got draws against both those teams.
Yep.
And Hearts couldn't. So, I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, you're thinking...
And also, when Hearts took the lead against Surrich, man, they really...
That was George Grant's fault, wasn't it, for getting sent off? That dive, second yellow card. Wasn't good enough. Had a shitload of injuries, but no excuses. Like, didn't perform. Hopefully Aberdeen do better this year for Scottish football. I think the Europa Conference League, I think it all depends on the group. Some groups I'd fancy Aberdeen to make out of. There'll be some groups where I think they don't really have much of a chance, so we'll just have to wait and see.
I think Aberdeen are going to splash the cash this summer.
We spent a bit of money last season, even though net spend was like way fucking down and they marked out, so we'll see what happens.
As for Hearts, their season, very disastrous. I mean, yes, they got the scraped fourth last day of the season, but no trophies. 2 good results against RFS, but that team was awful, man. Linfield played them off the park, so...
That's what I mean, how's that a good result then?
Well, still 2 European victories. It could have been worse. It could have been Rangers. Scud it 6 times.
I wouldn't call that a good victory. Like, I mean, that's the bare fucking minimum. You can't beat RFS. And I know Fiorentina and Istanbul didn't beat them, but still.
What would you rate Hearts' season out of 10 then, Hearts, man?
Out of 10, a 4.
A 4, fair enough. And they got 4th. Hibs in 5th. For so long it looked like Lee Johnson was going to get sacked. He survived, but will he survive next season? I'm going to go for no. 5th. What do you make of 5th for Hibs? It's just a very Hibs sort of level, isn't it? It's
garbage. I think they went out of both cups at the earliest possible opportunity. League Cup, I'm pretty sure.
They got kicked out of the League Cup,
they
sure.
Went out in the group stage, did they not?
For fielding an eligible player.
Yeah, and then in the Scottish Cup, they went out against Hearts in the first round that they come in, whatever. So, is it 4th round?
3rd, 4th, doesn't really matter.
I think the Premiership teams come in the 4th round.
Hibs is first round, that's all that matters.
So, yeah, I mean, Hibs going out at the earliest possible chance in both cups and then finishing 5th. So, I mean, they beat all the other teams with no money. Hope they do.
Yeah. St Mirren up next. Can I just really let it slip in the last couple of weeks of this season? I mean, they actually finished 4 points behind Motherwell because the split is crazy. Motherwell, Motherwell, a team that looked like they were going down the Dundee United path, getting beat twice by Sligo Rovers. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. You know what? I don't care that they finished 7th and Stuart Kettlewell's turned it around. Nah, see those 2 defeats against Sligo Rovers, man. That just put the Scottish coefficients in the bin before it even started.
Yeah, I mean, when you lose to Sligo Rovers, that should be guaranteed 2 easy wins.
Where was Kevin Van Veener in those 2 games? Was he in bed? Where was he? I don't know where he was.
He wasn't fucking scoring goals, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Livingston in 8th. Well, I mean, 46 points is probably the same amount of season tickets that they've sold for next season, so who knows? But man, that's bad. They can't sell 100 season. I mean, that is actually abysmal. St Johnstone in at 9. For so long, you predicted them to go down, but you know what? They actually stayed 12 points clear of Dundee United and 9 points clear of Ross County. So you were wrong. I don't even know where I put them to be honest. Kelly, I think I put them to finish 6th. They finished 10th. In the end, they managed to get out of it. But again, a team that just looked like they were... I mean, I feel like every team from 9th to 12th at one point looked like they were done for.
Done.
And I tell you what, Ross County were a team that were done for after that defeat against Aberdeen. I think it was 1-0. With Graham, the defeat where Graham Shinney got sent off, which was a disgrace. That looked like Ross County were done. They were sitting on 27 points going into the split. They were 4 points behind anyone. It looked like this is going to not be good for them, but they managed to survive with a playoff spot, but I still think Partick Thistle will defeat them. And then we saved the best for last. We have got Dundee United. L. Man, I mean, Middleton, Beach, Stephen Fletcher, Jamie McGrath. I mean, I would actually. Would you go as far as saying Bigaretti, however, is relegated? I would. He's cost him way more than 3 points.
Bigaretti?
Aye, Bigaretti.
Oh, aye, he's had an abysmal season.
But you can say what you want, right? About all the players have. Why each manager's picked this guy? So fucking free, absolute numpties, guys. But anyway, with a few more games before the season officially wraps up. Of course, 2 legs, Ross County, Partick Thistle. Then the big one on the 3rd of June between Celtic and Inverness. And you know what? I'd actually give Inverness more of a chance than Hibernian in the Conference League. But wait, see, so how's it work then? See if Inverness win the cup, what round do they go into?
They get Aberdeen's guaranteed group stage.
Oh,
so that's a massive game.
fuck, imagine that.
Game.
Aberdeen think they're getting 3rd. Guaranteed footballers, we talk about guaranteed football.
From a Scottish standpoint, though, what would you rather have? As much as I'd like to see I mean, it'd be great to see Inverness get that money. From a coefficients point of view, I think Inverness getting into it's almost a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
They'll probably lose all 6 games.
It's one thing saying here you Aberdeen and Hearts can sign players for the European games, but who's going to play in the Scottish Championship for the other 10 months just to play a few European games? Yeah. Who could Inverness honestly get, right, in the transfer window?
Stephen Fletcher.
No, but there's no guarantee they could, but there's no guarantee. Inverness probably won't go up.
I mean, probably won't go up. Of course, they're not favourites to go up next season.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But anyway, guys, that's us done. Scottish Premiership review show Matchday 48 will be back next season, and I'm hoping.
Well, we'll be back before then, for fuck's sake.
Aye, but for the review show, the review show's done. That's what I just said. I just said we've got 3 pretty big games to wrap up this season. Here, if you want the Champions League final and the English FA Cup one in there, we can. But hopefully, Man City fucking bottle the Champions League. We want Inter Milan to win. But anyway, till next time, peace.